boys and girls. On Wednesday, you're going to be doing a writing about the spring. And you're going to be filling in a graphic organizer and brainstorming all about the spring. So I thought I'd read you this story to kind of jog your memory and think about what you hear, what you see, what you smell, what you taste in the spring. So here we go. This book is called Spectacular Spring, All Kinds of Spring Facts and Fun by Bruce Goldstone. That's our author. Spring is a season of spectacular beginnings. Green plants and colorful flowers begin to grow. Animals shake off the cold of winter. People start spending more time outdoors. Look at the gold and yellow flowers. Aren't they beautiful? Days get longer. Spring begins on the vernal equinox. In the northern hemisphere, that's a day near March 20 when day and night are both 12 hours long. And nights get shorter. Spring ends on the summer solstice. In the northern hemisphere, that's a day near June 21. It's the longest day of the year. It's one of the things I love about the spring, boys and girls, that the days get longer. Days begin to get warmer. At the start of spring, you might still wear a sweater, a scarf, and warm gloves. So your clothes get lighter as the days begin to get warmer. You won't need so many heavy layers, but you might put on a raincoat and boots. Waterproof clothing helps keep you dry when it rains. Winter snow stops falling and spring rain starts. When the air gets warmer in spring, it's more likely to rain than snow. Air always holds tiny drops of water vapor, and warm air holds more than cold air. As warm air rises, it cools, and water droplets come together to form clouds. When the droplets get too heavy to stay in the cloud, they fall to the ground as rain. Have you noticed, boys and girls, we've been getting a lot of rain? It's going to help with our flowers, for everything to bloom. How do umbrellas work? The material of an umbrella is waterproof, which means rain will bounce off instead of passing through. When you open the umbrella, thin ribs unfold and stretch out the material to form a dome. Many umbrellas have an automatic spring. When you press a button, the spring releases and the umbrella pops open. Sometimes wind in a rainstorm will push up inside the umbrella. The ribs flip up and the umbrella turns inside out. You can usually tug the umbrella back into the right shape. How many of you have had that happen to you with a little wind? After the rain, you might see a rainbow. Sunlight is made up of many colors, but normally we can't see them all. After it rains, there are still a lot of water droplets in the air. When sunlight hits these droplets, form a certain angle. The beam of light separates into the colors that are usually mixed together in sunlight. A beautiful rainbow is the result. The colors in a rainbow are always in the same order. And I think I taught you, boys and girls, the acronym ROY-G-BIV. R-O-Y for Roy. G is his middle initial, and BIV. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. I love this page, boys and girls, because you're going to be able to use this in your writing. How does spring feel? Fuzzy, wet, velvety, soft, muddy, squishy, fluffy, windy, leafy, smooth. Boys and girls, those are all words that describe. What do we call words that describe? I hope you said adjectives. Lots of terrific adjectives to use in your writing this week. Plants start to grow all over the place. Maybe in your writing you want to mention some of these plants. We have cherry trees, forsythia, grass, azalea, dogwood tree, apple tree, magnolia tree, rhododendron. Spring rain brings water that plants need to start growing. Look around and you'll see leaves and flowers starting to grow on trees and bushes on the ground. Flower bulbs begin to bloom. Maybe in your writing you want to mention some of these. Hyacinth, tulips. This is the bulb that goes under the ground. We have daffodils, snowdrops, iris, crocus. Many of the first flowers to bloom in spring grow from bulbs that have been in the ground all winter. Unlike seeds, bulbs do not have a hard outer layer. Instead, bulbs have many layers called scales that help the bulb survive in the cold. The same bulb can grow a new plant every spring. What does spring smell like? This is also on your writing graphic organizer, one of our senses smell. Spring is a great time to close your eyes and sniff. Smell travels more easily in warm air than in cold air. As spring days get warmer, you'll find many fresh new smells when you walk outdoors. Sprouts spring up from seeds underground. Spring rain also helps seeds begin to grow in a process called germination. Temperature, sunlight, and water need to be right for a seed to germinate. First, the seed takes in water and swells. Then the outer layer or seed coat splits open. The plant's root grows downward and the baby stem grows upward. And you can see the development of it sprouting. A sprout is the first part of the plant to appear above ground. A seed can grow into a new plant only once. And seeds travel in many different ways. Plants don't have legs, do they, boys and girls? But they can still travel. Some seeds travel in the air. For example, dandelion seeds have a feathery part that helps the wind carry them to fresh new ground. The seeds of a maple tree have wings that make them move like helicopters in the air. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them in the air. They twist around like helicopters. Other seeds are sticky or prickly. They catch a ride by traveling in animals' fur or feathers or on people's clothing. When they finally fall to the ground, they might grow where they land. So we have all these little burrs that attach to the animal's fur. Seeds can travel by water too. When plants that hang over water let go of their seeds, the current carries them along to new soil. Animals can also move seeds. Birds like robins eat seeds, but they do not use the entire seed for energy. The seeds pass through the bird's digestive system and then they get dropped out along with some natural fertilizer that feeds the seeds. This page talks a lot about crops being grown, vegetables and grains. In spring, farmers plant seeds that will grow into crops like vegetables and grains. First, they prepare the soil. Then they plant or sow the seeds. Water and fertilizer help crops grow into strong plants. Some seeds need to be sown by hand, but others are sown using farm machines called seeders. These machines can dig soil and spread seeds evenly. What shape is spring? Look for the different shapes of spring. Baby animals are often born in spring when they will have plenty of food. Longer days allow parents more time to gather food for their young. Birds make nests and lay eggs. After the eggs hatch, baby birds usually stay close to one or both of their parents. How do baby birds hatch? Inside an egg, the yolk and the white provide food the baby needs to grow. When it's time to hatch, the baby bird uses its beak to knock a hole through the shell. After hatching, birds usually stay in the nest near a parent as they grow. When their feathers and wings are ready to fly, baby birds become fledglings. Parents still help to care for fledglings until they can find food and protect themselves on their own. Oh, this is another sense that you'll be filling in your graphic organizer. The sense of sound. Drip drop, cheep, tweet, chirp, baa, pitter patter, crack boom, whoosh, rustle, splish, splosh, splash, peep. Lots of spring sounds there. Some animals get moving. You just learned about hibernation. And so some animals come out of their burrows when the spring weather tells animals to wake up and move. Animals like chipmunks, bats, bears, frogs, and toads that hibernate or sleep a lot during the winter can find more food in spring. They wake up and become more active. You also learned in science about migration. Birds that flew south in autumn fly north in spring. They will feed on new plants and insects and find places to nest. Little critters get busy too. Bees and other insects start flying from flower to flower. While they gather food, they also help pollinate plants. They carry pollen from one flowering plant to another, allowing the plants to make seeds. Birds, bats, and the wind carry pollen too. When worms start looking for food, they also help plants. As they move, they loosen the earth, which makes it easier for plant roots to grow. Worms eat old plants and very small living things and then leave behind natural fertilizer that plants can use for energy. Tadpoles hatch from eggs in ponds and lakes. As they get bigger, they begin to grow lungs and legs, and they lose their gills and tails. Then the little froglets can hop around on land and eventually become adult frogs. We also learned about that in science. We learned about the life cycle of butterflies and of frogs. People have many ways to celebrate in spring. Easter, Passover, Earth Day, April Fool's Day, Mother's Day, Memorial Day. Fresh spring air gets people to open windows and clean up. Warm spring weather means we can open windows and let in some air. Many people use this time to do some spring cleaning. They tidy up indoors and out. Fresh paint can brighten a fence, a porch, or door. Volunteers pitch in to help clean public places. Of course, sometimes we just open windows to enjoy a cool breeze. And when all the year's beginnings have begun, spectacular spring turns into super summer, because before you know it, boys and girls, summer will be here. Now, I want to show you what you're going to do for your writing. So we're going to come on in here, and on Wednesday, you have this spring writing, and you're going to look at it, the 5 senses spring writing, and you're going to brainstorm about the spring. So you're going to click on spring writing. And there's going to be different boxes for you to type in. I hear, I feel, I taste, I smell, I see. And then the next day, on slide 2, you're going to write about the spring. But for Wednesday, you're going to need to make a copy of this document. So you're going to click on File, Make a Copy of the entire presentation, and you can call it your name and the spring writing. So for my writing, I put in Jen Spring Writing. And so you'll name it your own. And then you get to type in the boxes. So I'm just going to show you mine so you can see. Let me just go back to slide 1. I feel. And then I typed in, my touch screen is very sensitive. I feel soft breezes, velvety flowers, fuzzy green grass, wet dew on the plants. So in order for you to type, you have to click in the box. I put I taste, cool refreshing lemonade, fruity smoothies, spring BBQs. I smell, fresh cut grass, sweet blossoms, fragrant flowers, spring air. I see, happy children playing, rainbows of vibrant colors, families spring cleaning, neighbors gardening, little critters getting busy. So when you want to type in the box, you just click. So here's I hear, and the box will come up, and then you'll put your cursor in that box and you can start typing. So I'm going to put in, I have loud lawnmowers. I'm now going to put in the pitter patter of raindrops. Pitter patter of raindrops. And then I'm going to think about the book and all the other things that you hear. I remember there were a lot of birds chirping and tweeting. So I can put in here, tweeting birds. I can also think about all those beautiful flowers. And I could say, ooh, what pollinates those flowers? The bees. And so sometimes we hear bees buzzing. Bees buzzing. So boys and girls, you're going to be able to just type in, click on these boxes and add all the things that you want to for your writing. And then you'll click share and you will share this with your teachers. So Mrs. Pingator and Mrs. Silverstein and Mrs. Maggio. And then you can click done. Thursday, you'll work on the next slide. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our little spring read aloud, and I miss you very much. See you soon.